Can I get a Lord Kefka if I'm actually here, please? I think I'm here. It's already doing better than it was a minute ago. So, you know, that's nice. What happened to my chat? Oh my god. Hang on. My chat is weird. You started without me. I knew it! It always made sense. Sorry for the non-starter here. I've been having technical issues this morning, because of course I have. Like, I was all ready to go, and I'm like, alright! What? It wouldn't record. And I'm like, okay. And you know what's funny? Is the reason it wouldn't record is because I updated OBS. And I remember thinking, you know, every time I update OBS, I have some issue with it. And then I was thinking, nah, it's been a while since I've had issues with that. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's okay, I got it fixed. How the hell? I gotta love those updates. I gotta share something real quick, by the way, before I forget. Okay, so check this out. So, I pop open my phone, and I actually didn't have Twitch. That's up to you guys, Aethel, not me. I didn't have Twitch installed on my phone, so I'm like, alright, let me go ahead and download that really quick, because I was going to pop on and tell you guys I was having issues. So I'm like, okay, download Twitch. So I'm just going through this process here, right? I type in Twitch to my phone. I'm like, okay, Twitch! Watch Fortnite, PUBG, and IRL streams. It's right there on the front page. It's like the first thing you see. Twitch, Fortnite, PUBG, IRL streams. It's not even like, I'm not even explaining this correctly. It's not even the it's not the front page. It's the tagline. It's the, this is what this app lets you do line. Anyways. No spoilers, Cody. I haven't seen Singapore, I think, yet. How is everyone going? I noticed briefly, and then my chat bugged out, that we have someone new today, so hello, someone new. I don't remember the name, and it wiped it out, so I can't actually see your name, but hi, don't be a stranger. We like talking, chatting, interacting, and otherwise being cool here. We here at the Lore Runner firmly believe in the concept of being cool. Ah, it was you, Techno's World. Welcome to the chat, Techno's World. No, I need to set that up really quick. There we go, that's better. Sorry about that. Hang on. Justin. Thank you very much, Justin. Much obliged as always, sir. Thank you. And I have jotted that down for Vampire the Masquerade. No, it's all good. I know a lot of people who watch my YouTube stuff and then, you know, just kind of slowly are like, maybe I'll watch him live. Normally, I'm streaming basically every day, but right now you caught me in a YouTube cycle, which is pretty rare. It really only happens once a year. Oh my god. Okay, hang on. So I recently found, they very recently added something to help me track that hazardous, but it only tracks it for a certain period of time. Well, it could have been more spread out, Max time. I always had to do the same amount of work, but yeah. Nope, doesn't show it hazardous. Of course it doesn't. This thing is so stupid. They finally give me a tracker for offline subscriptions, and it doesn't frickin' work. I believe you, hazardous. I believe you. So, hang on. God, I'm getting bombarded here. So, first of all, thank you. Oh, God, no, no!
Zug Zug.
Okay, hang on. And then we've got hazardous materials 6. And then we got Micromono. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm getting buried. And then we've got... I spelled Micromono wrong. It's all lowercase. Oh, Jesus Christ. 2 Ks. And then Corrales. Hang on. Hang on. I can't keep up. Give me a minute. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, okay. No more. I haven't even fixed my chat yet. I'm not even sure how to fix my chat. I was in the middle of figuring that out, and then I got sidetracked. Oh, right, because it's down here for some stupid reason. Hang on. Oh! No, where'd my settings go? Oh, Jesus, I lost my settings. There we go. They're back. They're back. Okay, hang on. Ah! Okay. Mega DA 8. Okay, now we're done. We're totally done now. No more are happening. Okay. Now give me 1 second.
Of course you follow me. They all do.
Okay, now we're totally done. How do I... I'm gonna have to figure this out. I'm having trouble reading chat right now. Maybe it's this button? No. There's gotta be just an option somewhere for this. Whatever. Okay, scroll up, 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 scroll up. Okay, God, it's going off of the scroll thing. So, before I lose all of this... first of all, thank you very, very much, Puff of Logic, for the $10, which you're putting towards crosscode. Kind of in a hurry, because I don't want to lose this to chat. Thank you, Hazardous, very much. You're putting that to Ori and the Blind Forest, which we'll probably be playing on the Switch. If that's cool with you, and if it's not, then that sucks. Thank you very, very much to Zara. As ever and as always, much appreciate your support. This is for the sub, not the 50. So what do you want the sub to go towards, to Zara? And then we've got a sub from Micromano. Thank you very much, Micromano. I really hope that whatever's going on that's preventing you from subbing gets better, because that sucks, and nobody should have to go through financial issues. Thank you very, very much, Fuzzy Ducks. Let me go ahead and... as much as I am hesitant to add even more things to the list right now, I already know that game, so sure. Although, this is a good time to mention that when we come back from YouTubing, we're going to do a fleecing run and eject things that have, you know, very little or no interest or money put towards it. So, FYI on that. Let's see. Then we have Corrales. Thank you very much, Corrales. Much obliged the sub, as always, sir, which is going towards VTMB2. Oh my god. Come on, I'm still catching up. And then we have Mega D8, I never know how to say that name. I always want to say Mega Dragon. Thank you very much, Mega, for the sub. Much obliged and appreciate, sir, which is going towards a Plague Tale. And then there's Tazara, who's insane, who drops $50 on my face. Thank you very, 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 very much, Tazara. Much appreciated, sir, as always. Thank you. That would make sense, Hazardous. So I'm still kind of catching up here. Then we've got Scottish Warrior. Oh, Jesus Christ, guys, come on. I'm still catching up. So first of all, thank you very much, Scottish Warrior. Towards Jade Empire and 20 months. Thank you, sir. You can always add new titles to the list, but they will be removed if they do not have enough interest or funding, Mike Romano. That's how that works. And like I said, we're doing a fleecing run very soon, as I'm done with the YouTube cycle. And then we've got Narset. Thank you very, very much, Narset, for the sub. Much obliged. Much appreciate. Thank you. And so, hang on. So, Narset 6691. Now, I saw a donation in the middle of that. Oh my god. I'm never going to get to start the stream. I'm just going to be stuck here. Yes, it was from Anthony Draft, who dropped $15 on my face. Thank you, Anthony Draft. Very, very much appreciate, sir. If you'll give me a moment, you're splitting that up, so I gotta jot this down. 10 towards Spellforce 3, and 5 towards Black Mesa. Okay. Then, thank you very, very much, Hediori. Much obliged. Much appreciate the sub, and welcome to the Year Club. As always, thank you, all of you. Now, I didn't get a response from Micromano, Tizara, or Narset, or Hediori on where you wanted to put those. So, if you guys want to let me know, it shall be so noted and jotted down. Otherwise, thank you, all of you. Thank you, Pretzel. Thank you very much for the sub, sir. Much obliged. And that's going to FF7R. The criteria are simple, a puff of logic. Low interest, low funding. If you want specifics, I don't have them. I judge based on the specific game. So, low interest, low funding. That's all I got for you. I mean, if you wanted me to eyeball it right now, I'd say we got a bunch of games that are going to get chopped off as soon as I come back. Like, for example, Nefarious Dead Cells, JoJo's All-Star Battle, Magic the Gathering Arena, Miss Pac-Man, Mummy Demastered Pyre, Starmancer, Days Gone, Mortal Kombat 11, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna DLC, Civilization 2, IDC, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Age of Decadence, Valhalla, Persona 5, Royal, Fallout 76, Legend of Dragoon, Cyber Shadow, and maybe that's it for the immediacy, even though there's like 20 more I could chop off there, but... yes, Adam. In fact, if you'll notice, if you look at the website, you'll notice some of those really high-end ones, like, say, Dragon Quest II Builders, or Deltarune, or Tower of Time, are blue. The reason they are blue is because very few people have put money towards them, and yet you'll notice a lot of money has put towards them. Alex, for example, is someone who I know has been trying to single-handedly fund several runs, including the... what was it called? It was one of the last ones we just did. Folklore, that was it, Folklore. And he's trying to single-handedly fund a Jack and Daxter run. Vigilant, I don't know if he's here with us right now, has also put a lot of money towards specific games, so he is effectively single-handedly funding them. Although other people then picked up on the Jedi Knight one. Okay, so hang on. God, it is so hard to read chat right now.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
Okay, so sub goes to Age of Wonders, and then this goes to Star Trek Legacy. And someone just donated. Who just freaking donated? No! Thank you very much, Chaluto, for the donation, which I will jot down towards Resident Evil 4 immediately. Chaluto. It's not my fault I have to do YouTube stuff, Sheepcorn. Really quick, I still haven't heard a response from Narset and Hediori or Micromano on where they want their subs to go. Sucks. So unfortunately, I think Panic just single-handedly salvaged Persona 5 from being on the chopped list. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Thank you very, 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 very much, Panic. Much appreciate the support, sir. Thank you. And I have put that towards Persona 5 Royal. What usually happens, so I keep track of these things, Micromano. So what usually happens, what happened the last time we chopped, is I just keep track of the specific amount that certain people have donated towards it, and I make a list of it. So the next time I see that person, I say, hey, do you want a refund, if possible? That's not always possible. Or do you want to reallocate it? And most people just reallocate it to something else. Like, most of the games I just mentioned have, like, one sub put towards them. So one person can say, hey, I want to redirect that towards something else. Something like that. Are we done? Are we done? Still haven't fixed chat. It's so hard to read. I still haven't heard from Mike Romano or Narset or Hediori. Just as a heads up on that. Ion Fury. Right. So, Ion Fury. I can type. I can spell. Yeah, where's my Loreweek notes? I need to make a note saying we don't start the Loreweek until about the 16-minute mark. Yeah, let's switch songs to indicate. Let's go down to Dune Marogue. Hediori wanted it to be my choice. Okay, well, that's a thing we can do. Oh yeah, by the way, I should mention that a lot of people put it towards my choice. What I do is when we get to a chopping section, I reallocate the ones that are towards my choice to save the ones that I don't want to be chopped. What? Alright. So, I just have a hat. I don't know what a hat. Right, I need a drink. Okay. God, I really need to fix this chat thing. This is just really messed up. One moment. I really do need to fix this. No. Don't tell me they got rid of that option. It used to be an option to increase the chat size, so I could actually read it. It looks like they might have actually gotten rid of the option. You've got to be kidding me. Yeah, so I've got a separate chat window up. It's built into OBS. And I used to have it so I could read it a lot easier, because it's really tiny. It's like 10 something or 9 something. And I'm staring at it like, God, it's really hard for me to read that, especially at a glance. If it was moved, I have no idea where it was moved to. I guess I'm going to have to just live with it today and try to figure out how to fix that later. I mean the font size, yes. Hang on, let's see if we can find it here. I don't see anything in advanced, Kevin, no. I don't see anything anywhere. It's part of the problem. I may literally have to do a rewind to yesterday to fix all this, because this is stupid. Anyways, enough messing around. Let's actually talk about some news, shall we? Hey, Sue. How long is my break going to be, Adam? Until I am done. And if you're like, how long will it be until you're done? That's a good damned question. I have to record 1 year's worth of videos. And then edit them, and then process them, and then upload them, and then schedule them, and so forth and so on. So, when I'm done... Jesus Christ, Tazara. No! Bad. Bad. Before I forget to mention it,
Zug Zug.
before I forget to mention it, you guys have until next week to vote on the Ruminations, the Friday Ruminations. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about that really quick before I lose my train of thought. So thank you, Tazara, very much, and thank you again very much. You know the question, so I'm just going to move on because I don't want to lose my place here. So right now, everything, if you actually look at the spreadsheet, which I'm not going to link to you guys, but if you look at the spreadsheet, everything in green, everything that's highlighted in green in the numbers, that's probably going to go ahead and be locked in. That's most likely going to happen, unless there's some really substantial votes soon. Now, that's actually a problem. Because if you pay attention, this is, I think, 18? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, excuse me. That is 16 slots. Now, that leaves us with 9. Now, the problem is, so all of those things have 5 or more votes each. Going below that, we have a bunch of things that have 4 or more votes. Where exactly, Shikor? Because I don't see that anywhere in the chat settings. So, under the Better TV section, which of course I don't have. Why would I have a Better TV section? Anyways, so what's going to happen here? Well, I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen here, because here's the problem. So we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 things that are going to be slotted into the 9-thing slot. Right? So, obviously all 14 aren't going to make it. Only 9 of them are. I haven't really decided how exactly I'm going to handle that yet. But I mention this because if anybody hasn't voted yet, this would be a good time to look at the 4 slots and decide which of those 4s you want to be a 5 and actually make sure it gets in. Because otherwise, we're just going to have to figure it out. Anyways, that's where we're at with that. As soon as I cut down the vote, which will be next week, by the way, as soon as Loreweek starts next week, time's up. That's the cutoff line, and I will go ahead and make a point next week of updating the website to once I've finished updating the calendar here to show where each new rumination is going to be happening in 2020. Now, random news. Finally getting to my actual notes here. All right, Tazar, you haven't told me what are the 2 things about, or if you have told me and I can't read it because it's incredibly tiny. Cube World. Holy crap, Cube World actually is launching. Can you believe that? How many of you have even heard of Cube World? Hi, Unlikely Hero. Glad you're liking the KOTOR run. I'm actually in a bit of a break from streaming right now to work on YouTube stuff. But it is good, to be appreciated. And we're going to be getting back to streaming once we're done with YouTube stuff. But either way, hi. Cube World was a game that came out like 8 years ago? 9 years? It's been a really long time. I heard of it because of PAX. And PAX was like, hey, we should play this. And so I grabbed it and played it, and it was just, God, this is awful. It's like, well, yeah, it's an alpha. And I was like, well, I'll come back when it actually came out. And then I forgot it existed. And it just kind of came out last week. I think it was actually 2 weeks ago, but either way. All right, Tazara. Where's my knife? Let's see. Of course I put it away now. What can I use to kill Tazara? Oh. I just need to buy a Frostmourne. It's like $300. I should just sync it, so I can have it right here. Oh my god. All right. So, hang on. But I don't have any Yorkshire brand tea, Larian. Okay, so I did, Mike Romano. I was going to start the stream talking about that. And then a billion people gave me money for some reason. Okay, so Zara. So that's 50 to chess ultra. And then to me. So that's going to go down here. Right here. There we go. Thank you to Zara. Thank you very, very much. As always, sir. You suck. Please stop. Thank you. Cube World is actually coming out. I don't know if I'm even going to look at it. I don't have time. I'm working about 12-hour days right now on average because I'm just pounding out video after video after video. So, you know, that's I haven't played a video game in any substantial manner for 2 weeks. I've played like two co-op matches with Tessie, and I think I played a little Diablo 3 with Gary, and that's basically it. So I have no plans to look at Cube World. If you guys want me to look at Cube World, that's up to you, as always. PlayStation's State of the Play, that doesn't count, max time. PlayStation's State of the Play is coming out Tuesday. Now, I've said this before. I'm glad that Sony is picking up on the Nintendo Direct thing. I play plenty of games that aren't role-playing games, Unlikely Hero. Although, whether I'm going to play it or not, so I kind of just hinted at this. I don't actually decide what I stream. You guys do. So, whether I end up playing Jedi Fallen Order in November is completely up to you guys. I don't think it's even on the website at the moment. So, I don't actually think I'm going to at the moment, but that could change. We got a couple months. Well, since people in chat are already talking about it, I'll just go ahead and jump forward to this step. So, Aaron Eisenberg died yesterday. Now, some of you are probably thinking, who the hell is Aaron Eisenberg? And that's fine. Some of you who do know who he is, you may or may not be aware of the fact that he played Nog over on D Space Nine. Funny fact, the episode that I recorded last night, the last episode I recorded was the Siege of AR-558. Aaron Eisenberg was born with one kidney and has had kidney issues basically his entire life. That's one of the reasons why he's as short as he is. Some of you may actually... I know it's one of those weird things. Star Trek fans occasionally come into the acknowledgement that Aaron Eisenberg is actually older than Cirroc Lofton, which, you know, most people don't actually realize at first. But he was a great actor. He was a great guy. And he had, just out of absolutely nowhere, he had a kidney issue. By all accounts, he was completely fine. He was active. He was in the middle of tweet. You can see tweets from him from Friday night, for God's sakes, still out there. And the man was still in the middle of doing stuff, and then just they rushed him to the emergency room, and he died on the operating table. Yeah, he was only 50. I don't even know what to add to that. I really don't. I really don't know what to add to that. That sucks. So, if I may, a moment of silence for Aaron Eisenberg. As I've said many times, a quote from someone else, no matter what else you add to it, death sucks. So, yay. I'm just going to move on to the next topic because I don't know what else to add to that. Sorry. Actually, I do have one last thing to add, real quick. If you go and find Garrett Wong's Twitter, you know what, here, give me a second. Let me see if I can pull it up. I want to link you this. I'm doing this for a reason, I swear to God. There it is. So, Garrett Wong was at a convention. Here you go. Boop. And you can watch that on your own timer right now. It's 37 seconds long. Make sure you have the sound up. And it was... Garrett Wong's the one recording. And that's Aaron Eisenberg right there on camera. And he was asked to do the Nog dance that he did in You Are Cordially Invited, which was season 6, episode 7. It's the episode where Dax and Worf get married. And Garrett Wong decided to share that video in memoriam. And honestly, I think that's a good way to remember Aaron Eisenberg, because the guy was kind of awesome. So... Anyways. Favorite scene of him in DS9? That's actually really tough, because he had a lot of really good scenes. I'm very torn between basically the big moment in It's Only a Paper Moon, or the big moment in, I can never remember the name of the episode, but the one where he ends up, begging Sisko to help him join Starfleet. And I can never remember the name of the episode because the A plot, that's actually the B plot of that episode. The A plot is something stupid, and I remember that. It always irritates me because it's like this dumb A plot. But then on the side, it is Heart of Stone, you're right. On the side, it's Nog joining Starfleet and just pouring his heart out to Sisko. Both of those are my favorite Nog moments off the top of my head. So, no, you don't have to, like, agree with me, Tazara. I'm just sharing mine. I don't recognize that name. Thank you very, very much, Darcy. Much appreciate the donation, as ever and as always. If you'll give me a moment here, I will go ahead and jot that down. So Darcy has just decided to add Greedfall to the list. So, and I've already vetted Greedfall, so I'm fine with just doing that. Aha, it was Venters! This is why... Come on, guys. Thank you, Venters, very, very much. And I will go ahead and add that to the list. I haven't updated the website for those lately. To be perfectly blunt, I have been pounding websites. I've been pounding websites. I've been pounding videos, so I really, really have not taken the time to do anything other than research and record, and then research and then record. That's just been day in, day out for me. I will update the website at some point, I swear. Thank you, Sinister Wing, very much for the 5-month anniversary sub. Much appreciated, sir. And if you want to put that towards something, let me know. How long is a single run of Three Houses? Well, the last one was like 11. No, it was 14 episodes. So that's about 7 days. That's why any future Three Houses runs are going to be like another house. One house is going to be a single run as far as funding and interest goes. Yes, I am in Season 7 of Deep Space Nine right now. And I have 9 episodes to go until I'm done with DS9. Then I need to do about 30 episodes of TNG and... 26 main ruminations, which who knows how long that's going to take. And then I need to do the MCU Phase 3, which I'm going to save for last, because that's going to be kind of like a treat at the end, really. What consumes the most time? Recording? I mean, in general, the games tend to take longer, obviously, because a video game takes longer to play through than watching a 2-hour movie. But, you know, the actual time spent doing something other than playing the game, I spend far more time with regards to the shows and the movies, because I am constantly working over that period of time. Whereas when I'm over there on the video game, you know, I spend hours of a time sometimes without a single thing to write down. So, Anyway, Sinister Wing 25 is putting that towards Battlefleet. I think 2. So noted, sir. And thank you again. Am I adding Far From Home? Nope. You know why? Because the person who slotted in the MCU Phase 3 thing and I had a brief discussion about it, and we both agreed that it didn't belong in the intended block, which was the conclusion of the Thanos arc. So, any look at Far From Home will be a segregate thing. Okay. God, now that we've gotten off track again, we've been talking for 35 minutes. Let's see. I mentioned, right, Sony, State of the Play, which I've been in favor of ever since they started, which I think it started this March, something like that. And that's coming out this coming Tuesday, and it's going to be discussing Last of Us 2, which I imagine some of you are going to be interested in. Last of Us 2 is a game I know some of you guys have showed interest in us doing a premiere run of. Oh, speaking of which, I should mention something. Sorry to go back to the show for a second. When I do a fleecing, when I remove stuff from the website, most of the stuff that I remove, I mentioned it's case by case. I generally won't remove something that isn't out yet. Like if there's a game that's coming out in a year and a half and it's only got $2 towards it, then I'll just let it sit there because the game's not out yet. If the game is out and it's only got $2 put towards it, then yeah, we're gonna remove it. One moment, please. So I do have something of an actual topic here. In fact, I have 2 topics. I only had 2 topics written down for today. I figured this would be a super short lore week. What happened? Yes, absolutely hazardous. It just because it removed doesn't mean it's banned, if you follow me. No, no, no! Next week, Venters. I have no more ideas. I'm sorry, I don't have anything else. Yes, this was a anniversary gift, as I've mentioned before. This is one of my favorite Pokemon. This is a melodic. She's so cute. Anyways, sorry. I'm gonna have to reset her up here. She's very fragile, but we'll just put her right there for right now. Okay, so scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. You're thinking of business as usual, Adam? Although I don't remember Nog being involved in that. Okay. We're all done. No more donations. Okay, first of all, hello Max Bass. Welcome to the stream. I swear we do more stuff than people subbing to me. I swear we do more stuff than that. But right now, I'm mostly working on YouTube stuff, ironically enough. But normally I stream every day, and I really like interacting with the stream, talking, chatting, etc. So if you have any thoughts, comments, questions, you're more than welcome, as ever. Thank you very much, Dr. Papa Penguin. And thank you very much, Plutonia. Much obliged to both of you. Now, Plutonia wants to put that towards the FF7R, which I will write down in a second. FF7R. Mr. Penguin, you didn't tell me what you'd like to put that towards. And then Tazara already said all of the people he gave subs are the ones who can decide where those go towards. So if any of the people I'm about to list want to put that towards something, let me know. That would be Adam, Theratos, Jaxi, Tercero, Halo, Sty, Mandelbrot, Orange Deku, Remedy Zexion, 64 Alex 25, and Gum Gum. If any of you are there and actually want to put it towards something, let me know. And you got it, Dr. Papa Penguin. Give me a moment. There we go. And yes, Mukul, you were gifted one earlier. Oh my goodness. This is going to take a while to sort out later when I get there. Ah, Theratos. Okay, so that's one of them. Whoops, that's... There we go. Link's Awakening. Which is right here, by the way. Don't worry, still in the wrapping. Like I said, I haven't been playing video games, despite what Max Time says. I hope it's good. I'll get there at some point. Right, so let's move on to our next actual topic. I swear I have a topic. I swear I actually produce content. Like you know, there's those... God dang it. There's the... What the hell? They have, like, the box opening or unpacking streams or whatever. I'm going to have sub streams. I'm joking. Please, I don't actually want that. Okay, so... Alright, for those of you not aware, there is a legal battle that has been fought for the past 4 years now in Europe between, I forget which court, one of the French courts and Valve. Now, if you're not aware of this, I'm going to give you a very brief summary. The general idea is, for those of you not aware, Valve does not allow you to resell games. They are very harsh about that. So, for example, you know, if I wanted to be like, you know, I don't want... I don't know, Shovel Knight. Just trying to think of my first Steam gamer. I don't want Shovel Knight anymore. I want to sell it to Aethel. I'm like, here you go, Aethel. Take this game for $5 or whatever. That's actually not allowed, and is extremely disallowed. Now, you're probably thinking, well, there's no method to which to do that in the game, and you're kind of right. But there's also things involved to prevent people from doing reselling, from buying large amounts of Steam keys and then selling them to other people for lesser amounts of money. That's the main thrust of what that's trying to prevent. In other words, it's not trying to prevent used sales, it's trying to prevent resales. Now, that's a key distinction, but unfortunately, both are legally qualified as the same, right? So, this then leads to this legal battle, which, again, has been going on since 2015. Now, last week, the French court reached a verdict on the matter saying, nope, we've decided this is illegal. We've decided you are not allowed to do this. We're going to go ahead and say, you know, that this is not acceptable. We're going to fine you a pittance, and we're going to go ahead and demand that you change it in order to adhere to EU guidelines. Now, I've heard some people being like, oh my god, this is going to change the nature. So they've already appealed it. Let's just go ahead and start with that. Valve has already filed the appeal of this. And like any good lawyer would tell you, they had that appeal ready to go in writing on the presumption that they would lose, so that the second they lost, they could get it in as quickly as possible. This is very normal. So the appeal has already been put in, and that means any further changes or decisions will not actually go through. Basically, the deadline of the month that Valve has to accommodate hasn't even started yet because of the appeal. We'll see where that goes. I'm not sure what I think of it. Which leads me to an interesting question. See, the reason this is a topic is not just because of informing you of this, although this is interesting news, I think. No, the relevant part is that what they are trying to do based... Let me take this back for a second. One of the things that they're actually trying to do is make it so that you can sell used games on Steam. That is a surprisingly weird topic, and the more I think about it, the more I'm not sure what I think about it. Because there's a surprisingly amount of involved in that topic. Like, at the base level, again, if I wanted to say, hey, Darth Tyron, here, you want to buy my copy of Shovel Knight? I'm done with it. I don't need it anymore. I'm not going to play it anymore. So here you go, $5. And Darth Tyron's like, sure. That's easy. That's simple, but that's base level. The problem is used game sales in a digital format when there's questions of ownership opens up a very large amount of legal entanglements attached to that. Because what you're effectively doing is selling a temporary license, which you may or may not actually have access to, and just... like, the reselling itself, sure, okay. You say that, Aethel, but there are actually plenty of people I know personally, thank you, Tazara, who do that on a semi-regular basis. Usual question, Tazara. That is to say, people who would want to. And if I'm being blunt, I actually know a lot of people who would want to buy used games digitally. It's also interesting to note that, and this is something that's worthy of note. Okay, so it's up to Dakota. Mechanicus, you got it. Give me just a sec before I forget that. If I wanted to sell you Hyrule Warriors, right? It's a physical copy, okay? Good game, by the way. I highly recommend it. We'll be playing it for IDC at some point in the future. If I wanted to sell you this and you wanted to buy this, then you might look at this and be like, well, I mean, how old is it? What condition is it in? Anytime you buy a used copy of a physical game, there's always that little asterisk of, buyer be warned, right? Because there's always the possibility that something might be wrong with it. That doesn't apply for a digital game. And so this little niggle is ejected entirely when it comes to selling a used digital game. Now, obviously, the video game industry in general is massively against the idea of selling used games for the same reason they always have been, and they can go to hell. I know that sounds horrible, but I have actually studied this situation from an economic perspective as well as that of an individual consumer, and they can go to hell. The general idea that usually is had, this is the same thing we went through with movies. You remember that? When the film industry tried to prevent people from selling used VHSs, tried to prevent VCRs from being legal. You remember that? Because I do. I lived through that. When their biggest problem was like, well, hang on. Like, if you're selling this... Pretend this is a movie for a second. The Hyrule Warriors movie. Oh my god, no. Like, if you're selling this, that's money we're not getting. Which, again, if you actually sit down and think about the overall perspective of the economic flow, this is not a sale for them. And I know that sounds so stupid to say that, but trust me, I have actually done studies to go in depth on explaining why this is not a sale for them. Whether I sell it used or not, they still don't get the money from this. Because the whole reason people buy used is because they want it cheaper. Get it on sale. I had a stamp for that and everything. You remember that? There are an enormous quantity of people who will basically never buy a copy of something until it's on sale. And as long as they're trying to sell these things full priced, that only... I'm trying to think how to explain this in summary. It's actually a surprisingly complex topic. Basically, the actual point of transaction only really matters for them once. And what they wanted was for it to matter like 5 or 6 times. That's the best way I can summarize that. And it's easy to summarize it that way because that's exactly what video game companies are doing right now. DLCs, microtransactions, it's the same exact concept. We don't want to charge you once for a game. We want to charge you 50 times for a game. So again, they can go to hell. I'm totally in favor of buying and selling used whatevers. Companies do not, in my opinion, in a base philosophical level, do not have the right to prevent the resell of an item after they have already sold it. There has been attempts for decades at this point, arguably centuries, or century, from companies trying to prevent people from trading things after they've already been sold. And those people can go to hell. Yeah, it's like exactly Sonic Doctor. Forgive me for getting upset about this. It's just, this has pissed me off more than once in my life. Anyways, getting back to the point. The real catch here is because of the fact that most of the digital games, most of them, not all of them, are licensed with a gray gradient of how much you actually own the topic. It unfortunately opens up a little bit of legal in trying to figure out exactly how you have the right to resell that or give that away or whatever. Some of you may or may not be aware of the fact, even though I use Steam for a lot of stuff, I actually prefer GOG if I have a choice. When we get to Cyberpunk, I will be playing that on GOG, by the way. Because in GOG, thanks to the way that they do their things, at least at the moment, you actually own the damn game. And what Takoida points out is also valid. Takoida mentions that just because you put stuff in terms of use does not make it legal. In fact, this is something that's come up many times, at least here in the States. A company will say, if you open this, you know, I'm going to make up a ridiculous example, okay? If you open this and buy this, you give us the right to come to your house and eat your food. Doesn't make it legal. Just because you put it in terms of service doesn't make it legal. Even if I hit a button saying I agree to that, doesn't make it legal. What it does is it allows them to try and have a vector of legality when it comes to pushing an issue, but it does not actually make it legal. In terms of service, people keep trying to abuse that. It's actually a really irritating thing. People keep trying to abuse the idea of, well, you know, you signed the document so we can do whatever we want with you. And it's like, no, that's not actually how that works. And there have been a lot of lawsuits over the last 40 years basically dealing with that exact issue. That is an extremely good question, Loner. Yeah, they try to make, that's exactly right, Darth Tyrant. They try to state that this is a binding contract. It's not, though. I forget there's actually a list of requirements that validate a binding legal contract, and a terms of service doesn't hit multiple of those points. Either way. Point being, what was I saying? God, I'm getting way off topic here. Damn it, Kevin, no! Come back from the EA side. Okay. Pulling it back. Now, I wanted to talk about possible consequences of the reselling digital games thing. Because if I'm being honest, and this is probably the cynic in me talking here, I can't see this having any particularly large-scale change. What is most likely to happen, assuming the EU does win this one, is, well, they will fine Valve, and I forget the amount. God, I was just looking at it. Hang on. Do I still have it written down? Of course I don't. Hang on a second. They had a specific amount that they were finding them. No, it wasn't 3,000. It was 1 million something. I mean, yeah, it was 3,000 a day, but it was like up to 6 months. There it is. I can't do math. What's 3,000 times 6 months? So times 18, 182. What is 182? Right. So what is most likely to happen is they'll just eat the thing. They'll just eat the cost of the fine and say, yep, okay, whatever. And And then every time I use the calculator, you're right, I need to remember that. And then they will just continue to not comply. And then there'll be another court case for another 5 years, and at the end of the 5 years, they have to pay another pittance. My point is, this is barely a slap on the wrist. In fact, one of the reasons that this kind of irritates me, and I felt like this is newsworthy, is because I don't actually think this is going to do or change anything. This is even establishing precedents in any substantial way. So, you know? I mean, with a second lawsuit, they might try to be more severe about it, but that still gives them several years to try and do something about it. Now, on the off chance that Valve actually decides to comply, which I do think is unlikely, but assuming Valve does try to comply with this, all they're going to do is either comply in a limited and linear fashion, aka only with states that actually matter, or they're going to just kind of be like, well, we'll see, basically. I don't actually know where they're going with this. Of all of the possibilities, the possibility that Steam just starts opening up a used store operation built into Steam is, in my opinion, the least likely outcome. And that's why I look at this and be like, yeah, okay. 546,000 euros, Valkorian. Roughly. Now, if Valve does decide to allow used game selling, what I would do is I would bake it into Steam. I would make an actual interface printer. I would make an actual interface aspect of it so that you can actually have an option to, like, you right-click the game and say, I would like to put this up on the used game storefront. And there's a new used game storefront. Or maybe, like, as you pull up a game, it's like, here's the game price, and there's 75 copies currently being sold used, like, right under it. Bake it into the UI, basically. And then Valve could take a percentage of the sale. And Valve could effectively double dip. That's what I would do. What? That is what I'd do. I would have already done that, to be completely blunt. I would have already thought about this and be like, yeah, okay. So, either way. So now, that's actually all I really have to say about that, although, you amuse me. I mean, have you guys seen the new Steam library? Because it looks terrible. And it's also terrible, in addition to everything else. It's like YouTube. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. YouTube keeps trying to change the creator side of their website. I don't know if they're changing anything for you guys, but if I load up YouTube Studio right now, which I just did, this is garbage. This is actually one of the worst UIs I've seen in a long time. Like, every time I go to this to try and update a video or upload a video, I just go to Creator Classic, which actually works. And actually does what it needs to happen. God, this is so terrible. This is just a garbage interface. What's funny is it also takes longer to load than the Classic one. It's like, hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Okay, now it's loaded. Okay. Now it's loaded. Oh, you want to look at the comments? Hang on. Hang on. Okay, here's the comments. And I'm like, okay, I read in the comment. And it's like, well, hang on. Do you really want this comment to be on your video? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Well, I'm not going to put it up. Why not? Well, because you didn't click it. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Refresh. Can I show it on screen? No, I'm not showing my browser on screen. Garbage. Now the best part is they've tried to push this before. Oh, speaking of YouTube, did you notice that they were like, "Hey, we're updating our verification system." And then immediately after, they're like, "Hey, like, what is this? Where is this? That would have been, like, looks like Friday, something like that. Like, immediately after, they're like, we're not doing it. We changed our mind. Where's the exact quote? I actually had an exact quote. I'm sorry for the frustration and hurt that we caused with our new approach to verification. We're trying to make improvements. We missed the mark. So basically, they're walking back everything about the new verification system, with one exception. With one exception, they're still going to verify that channels are authentic. For those of you not aware, that's actually not a step that's in place right now, because it's kind of an automated thing. This actually amuses me a little bit. I'm not even a third of the way to qualifying for applying for verification. You ever wonder how small scale I am? That's how small scale. I'm not even a third of the way to beginning to apply for verification. God. Stupid freaking thing. Unrelated, I've been looking into buying a private server lately to host videos on it for no reason. So, oh yeah, for anybody curious, no, I haven't fixed the MP3 thing yet. The problem is that it's relatively easy to have a band-aid solution to the MP3 problem. I don't want a band-aid solution. I want a solution that's going to happen for the next 10 years. So we're still kind of taking our time for that. And admittedly, I've been kind of thinking about going ahead and just, buying a server, or actually a virtual server to be slightly more accurate, or a physical server, which is something else. I've been looking into a lot of options, is the summary here. Because, because I would be an idiot if I presumed YouTube is still going to be fine 10 years from now. Anyways, getting back to my point. So, let's talk about My Little Pony. Now, you know what's... Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what's the funniest thing about My Little Pony for me? You can't even bring it up without people getting weird. You ever notice that? It's like The Last Jedi, almost. You bring it up and people are like, wah! Right? Oh, I have no idea, Sonic Doctor. I should get a timestamp. Alright, so for those of you who haven't muted me or fled the stream in disgust, so for those of you not aware, I'm going to go ahead and be doing a Mini-Nations series on My Little Pony. We've already finished, obviously, the Young Justice one. We've already done Rebels. We've already done Clone Wars. My Little Pony is the last one on the bracket, and it's going to be the last one right now. That's actually the first thing I want to talk about, because I'm not sure how many of you really understand the Mini-Nations format. See, anytime I'm working on Mini-Nations, I'm not working on anything else. 9 seasons, Cody. So, that's bad. I know that sounds like a strange statement, but given the very nature of Mini-Nations and how rapid fire they come out, we kind of have a problem. Because I have to just sit here and absolutely cram episodes and just mash through them as quickly as I possibly can, and that is time that I could be spending working on the mainline Ruminations or streaming. It's also really mentally exhausting. It's basically the same thing as working while binge-watching an entire show. Now, shrug. I mean, I'm not trying to complain. What I'm trying to explain is why this is going to be the last Mini-Nation series. Because it has to, by necessity, take the place of anything else. I'm either working on Ruminations, I'm streaming, or I'm working on Mini-Nations. So, as a natural consequence, it has to take up that slot. This is why we're not doing Mini-Nations going forward, because it's taking up time for relatively little money. And I hate to say that, but there it is. So, having said all of that, with MLP being the last one, no Mini-Nations ever again, I don't want to say never, But I actually can't envision a scenario in which we will start doing Mini-Nations again. I'm not even sure what would have to happen for that to happen. Maybe if I won the lottery, because then I could discontinue some other features and, you know, just produce Mini-Nations, for example. So, I'm glad you guys like the Young Justice ones, by the way. So anyways, getting back to MLP. How do I phrase this? There's 9 seasons to go through. Now, some of you... Okay, so let's talk about why we're looking at My Little Pony. Why would I even do that at that point, Lord Harrimont? At that point, I might as well just not do it and refund everyone the money. Oh yeah, by the way, these things are paid for. I do want to mention one thing really quick. For those of you not aware, some people put money towards Star Wars Rebels. Some people put a little bit of money towards Young Justice. It wasn't a lot of money. It was just, you know, about $100. A substantially huger amount of money was put towards MLP. We're talking more money was put into the MLP Mini-Nations than Rebels and Young Justice and Clone Wars combined. That's how much more. Cool, I'm with it. I actually like the show, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. It's just amusing to me. Now, in addendum to that, though, I do want to mention something about the... Yeah, no kidding, Loner. I do want to mention something about the money side of things. Nah, hazardous. See, the problem is, My Little Pony is actually a good show. You cannot like it, and that's entirely acceptable. I don't like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I do like My Little Pony. Why? Reason number 1. Heavy focus on continuity. Like a heavy focus on continuity. Like, I have watched this show and thought, why didn't Voyager do this? To use a direct example. Events from one episode actually matter in the next episode, or the next one, or the next one. There's a lot of recurring characters, and a lot of recurring elements that happen going forward. So, big emphasis on continuity. Second point, big emphasis on characters. Like Zeiss there, for example. Zeiss is a very important character when it comes to MLP. I mean, if something happens to Zeiss, he will generally... No, I do not, Daniel. He will generally be... it will matter. It will be referenced in the future. There are only a couple of exceptions to that. And those are the exceptions that are bad. Zeiss... Black Mesa. There we go. Thank you very much, Zeiss. Much obliged. Yeah, the show's not actually done yet. It'll be finished in October. So, continuity, character focus, complex storytelling is the next point. Now, I'm trying to think of how to properly explain this. How many times have you seen an episode of something and you thought, okay, it's going to do the typical thing, and then they did the typical thing and you were like, yeah, whatever. How many times have you seen that, especially in movies and in shows? I bet several of you could think of many examples of that. Now, I've said before that, you know, the typical thing, you don't always have to do something different. When I say the typical thing, I mean like the wacky misunderstanding. Or the... Oh, yeah, Secret Life of Pets is actually a fantastic example of what I'm talking about. Forgive me, I actually didn't like Secret Life of Pets. I did see it. I saw it with my niece. And I actually really disliked that film. It was extremely lazy writing. Just, MLP does not do that. Now, it's obviously not the only show that doesn't do that. Young Justice is another good example of a show that managed to do that. But that was actually what really caught my attention, was the complex storytelling. And, I guess that's it? The main reason that I got into the show, the original reason, is the obvious reason. My niece. You see, this is... I'm trying to think how to phrase this without sounding like a dystopian dictator. I try to police what my niece watches. Now, this isn't really a modern thing. For the last 3 years, I've been taking care of her a lot. And there's been a lot of times where I'm over there all day watching her, or I would spend like weeks at a time or months at a time just taking care of her. So I wanted to make sure that because she had something called video time, which could be spent on games or shows or movies, whatever she wanted from that. And I wanted to make sure that whatever she's watching was good, that it wasn't dreck, basically. I have seen Reboot, yes. Yeah, exactly. I don't want them to watch dreck. I don't want them to watch black. I don't want them to watch things that insult them. I don't want them to... How many times have you seen a kids show where they try to make it so that it's really cool and awesome? Yeah, it's so cool to be a brat, or to be a dick, or to be mean to other people. Over the last 3 years, I have seen a lot of kids' television, because I have been going through it, trying to find stuff that would be good for her to watch. And there's a weirdly large amount of kids' television, which is just dreck. Which just... Ugh. What? Oh, okay. I just... Am I bad enough, dude? Well, this is about 3 years ago at this point. I don't think she's even into MLP at this point, Loner. And again, I'm not really the one taking care of her full time anymore. Although, by the way, another show that I recommend to people, which is a kids show, but it's actually, you know, good continuity and kids, blah, 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 blah. Oz. O-Z. It's a CGI show on Amazon. I don't know what else it's on. Surprisingly good show. It's a fully string continuity show. So, you know, one episode leads into the next, one of those kind of things. Very good stuff. Anyways, so that's why I got into My Little Pony. It is based on Wizard of Oz, yes. Like I said, it's a surprisingly good show. Season 2 didn't do that as well, but Season 1 was pretty good. Yeah, not the HBO Oz. That's why I had to say the CGI Oz on Amazon. I know, right, Shikor? I don't understand that at all. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. So that's why I started watching MLP, because she started getting interested in Pinkie Pie, because she likes the color pink. Yes, that was her reason. And so she was like, oh, look, and I'm like, and so her dad and I, we basically shared duties on this. We would actually discuss and talk, okay, you know, what shows have you found? Okay, well, I found this. What shows have you found? So as a natural consequence, I saw most of the first 3 seasons simply by being with her, being present while she was watching TV. So that's what brought the show to my attention. And like I said, I was actually surprisingly impressed with it, and became actually invested in the characters because, again, complex storytelling, character focus, continuity. So I was like, huh. I said up to Season 3. I ended up watching Season 4 completely on my own. I'm pretty sure it's Season 4, because there's actually a story arc that goes throughout all of Season 4. It's 4 or 5, I forget which. Which was pretty impressive. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic, but this is why. This is all of the why I was willing to accept this, because I think MLP is a show that deserves the same level of analysis that most of the other shows I look at do. Again, because of the nature of the complexity of it. So I was like, okay, sure. And then people dropped money on it, so okay, we're walking into this. Now, this has all been a preamble to the problem. The problem is it's 9 seasons. And I haven't even seen all of it. In fact, I'm not even 100% sure I've actually watched the show front to back. You know, there might be specific episodes I've never seen before. So, well, that's easy, Mike Romano. You have to look at them and you have to engage them in the idea of something mattering then and now, and trying to get them to acknowledge, like you ask a question like, so which one, what do you think, oh god, I said Applejack. What do you think Applejack would do in this particular case? Or what do you think you would do if Rarity saw this, and you engage their brain in the idea that they have to think about the character, acknowledge the characterization that's shown on camera, and then produce an answer. And so in so doing, they are now interested in the character because they are logically engaging with the way the character works, thus acknowledging the characterization and getting into it. I did this with Pinkie Pie, too, with her. Like, we would actually do little... she has these little doll things, and we'd be playing together, and I'd be like, okay, well, hang on. Who do you think would be the one who'd run this shop? And she'd have to think about that for a second, like, it'd be this one, right? And because she does this, and because she thinks this way. And yeah, not just because Darth Vader is cool. Bingo, Takoida. You know how you take care of a kid? You treat them like they're not stupid. I'm sorry, it's just, it irritates me, you know? Anyways. So, alright, so what the hell do we do about this? 9 seasons, that's nuts. So let me talk through some options that I've already come up with, which obviously several of you guys have already said. Option number 1, we go ahead... Australia. We go ahead and just approach it like we do every other Mini-Nations, which is just going to be like... That's going to be at least 2 weeks of just constant recording to get that out, and that's going to be... So, that's option number 1. Treat it like any other Mini-Nation. Option 2, we could go ahead and chop it into blocks and spread those out. Option number 3... we could make it another of our TV rumination things. So what I mean by that is rather than having 2 episodes a day, 5 days a week, we have 1 episode a week. And just slot it in on Wednesdays. Now that's obviously going to make it take quite a while longer to do. But... yeah, and take years to finish, just like any of the Star Trek things. How many episodes per season? I believe it's the usual 26. Let me double check that. Oh yeah, can I share a quote really quick about MLP? This is one of the first things I found out about this show. Lauren Faust is the one who initially crafted the show. She hasn't been involved since season 2, though. And My Little Pony was one of her favorite childhood toys, but she was disappointed that her imagination was nothing like the animated shows, in which the characters, and I quote, just had endless tea parties, giggled over nothing, and defeated villains by sharing with them or crying. With the chance to work on My Little Pony, she hoped to prove that the cartoons don't have to be a puddle of smooshy, cutesy-wootsy, goody-two-shoeness. To do this, she incorporated the design of characters in the show elements to contradicted idealized stereotypes of girls, such as diverse personalities, the message that friends can be different and can get into arguments but still be friends, the idea that girls should not be limited by what others say they can or cannot do, etc., etc. Just, that was one of the first things that caught my attention by this show. I was like, huh, okay. But yes, 26 episodes, alright, other than season 3. So that's like 100 and something. Now, there is one other... Sorry, so while we're discussing our broad options here, there is another problem. One time I was streaming... Okay, rewind a second. How many of you, when you saw My Little Pony up there, immediately went, ugh? No judgment, I'm just curious. I imagine it was more than one of you. Part of the reason I bring this up is, like I said, it's kind of hard to even talk about this topic on the internet. In fact, when I first agreed to do this, my initial idea was to go ahead and... how do I put this? To not allow comments. To basically just say, you know, comments are not allowed on this video. Just flat shut them down, because I don't trust the internet. No, Bragon. God, no. I'm still debating if I'm going to allow comments on these videos. I haven't actually decided yet. Because people are people. Because the internet is the internet. And I don't want to deal with that garbage. What I'm going to do, I've already decided this, I should clarify, is I'm going to go ahead and allow comments. And we'll see. It would take maybe about 50 seconds to disable comments for the whole thing. Just shut it down. It would not be hard to do. So, we'll leave them on to start and we'll see. If people decide to be the internet, then we'll shut it down. Not hard. But this, of course, brings up the other problem. And by the other problem, I mean the original problem. Sorry, God, you can tell I'm a little tired here. How do I actually approach this? How do I do this? They'll get the flamethrower off of stun treatment. Exactly, Takoida. I still haven't decided. Right now, obviously, I haven't done any work on the show whatsoever. I've been working on Deep Space Nine. I've been working on TNG. I've already done several of the main Friday ruminations. I've already finished the Days Lost rumination. Or Days Gone, excuse me. Days Gone. I've already finished the rumination on the Dollar Trilogy. I'm actually working on the Persona Trilogy, or the Persona rumination right now. And then I'm going to go back to the DS9 stuff. Oh, I know, Mr. Red. Simply by talking about it, this will open up another vector of attack. So, yay. Enterprise, I'm not actually going to start Enterprise until about March, I think, of 2021. Give me a second and I'll actually give you a more specific number on that one. So that's going to be then. So... yeah, I'm not looking forward to that, Cody. It doesn't matter. I don't have a choice on it. Give me one moment. That's actually one of the reasons I'm willing to do this Platinum Pineapple. If this was 3 years ago, I would say no. I just wouldn't accept doing an MLP thing. I mean, obviously, I didn't really know the show existed 3 years ago. But assuming I was into the show 3 years ago and people requested it, I would say no. But... now it's calmed down a little bit. Okay, so... Sunday Paper Moon, Prodigal Daughter, Penumbra. So that's going to be there. Give me one moment. I got to do this manually because I haven't mapped out 2021 yet. So that's going to be 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23... 24. So the final episode of Deep Space Nine Ruminations will go live February 22nd, 2021. Now TNG I got to calculate separately, and I can only estimate because there's actually some question marks in that one, so give me just a moment. So that's going to be, so let's assume 2. That's easy enough to do. So, and then, is this 26 as usual? Yep. Okay, so 1. Give me a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And that will mean the last episode of TNG, All Good Things, will go live on March 22nd. So, I've already decided what I'm going to do with that. I'm not going to start another show immediately after Deep Space Nine, because Deep Space Nine and TNG are slightly offset. In fact, they are literally... I said the wrong number. It's actually February 23rd, my bad. So that's actually going to be... 1, 2, yeah, it's literally 4 weeks offset, 1 month. So what we're going to do is we're going to have... March will have no Tuesday ruminations at all. And then starting in the end of March 2021, which is going to be the 29th and the 30th, that's when we will start TOS and Enterprise. And those are substantially shorter, 3 seasons of TOS, 4 seasons of Enterprise. So those are going to be truncated. I'm not even sure how long those are going to last. I haven't thought about it yet, to be completely blunt. But that's the overall plan. Get some good sleep, Revan. See you around. The original Loner, I think. I'm not sure. I did it last year. Can I do other shows apart from Star Trek? Of course I can. Although Star Trek has been really, really, really popular. Like, I've already kind of started getting known to be the Star Trek guy. Which I'm okay with. I kind of am a Star Trek guy. So that's why we're jumping immediately into Enterprise and TOS for the next ones. That's not even in question at this point. Once Enterprise and TOS are done, well, that's going to be debatable, isn't it? That's 2 years from now. Possibly 3 years from now, actually. Probably 3 years. You know what? Why not? Let's actually think this out. Give me a second. Give me a second. Look up all this stuff. Give me a minute. Look, I'm trying to conquer the world as fast as I can. To quote it. God. Okay, here we go. So let's just do... Am I counting the cage? Yeah, of course. This is an original design, Mr. Ed. I made this when I was very young, actually. So... What's 26 times 2 plus 24 plus 22? Or 26 times 3 plus 20? Should be 78, 98. So there's 98 episodes of Enterprise. So yeah, that means it'll be about 2 years, just a little under 2 years for Enterprise. So that means we'll be finishing Enterprise in, sounds like about early 2022? No, early 2023, actually, sorry. So that's when we'll finish Enterprise. At that point... we'll talk about other shows. That is 4 years from now. I plan in advance, but not that far. However, I will go ahead and say, for anybody caring, that among the shows that I have in consideration for other slots for the Mondays and Tuesdays include Farscape, which is an obvious one. Space Above and Beyond is one I'm considering. And Stargate SG-1 is one I'm considering as well. None of those are committed. I want to make that clear. I haven't committed to any of that. But those are the ones that are in consideration once we finish TOS and Enterprise. The fact that TOS and Enterprise are going to finish very offset from each other is something I'm going to have to debate what I do when we get to 2022, which is when that's going to happen. I am very organized, Aethel. It actually irritates me a little bit how much my family and friends are not organized. I'm like, hey, you know, let's plan this day. And they're like, but that's 3 months from now. I'm like, yeah. But yeah, I run a TV show. I have to be organized. What about Discovery or Picard? Well, that's a good question. We'll answer that question 4 years from now when it becomes a thing. Will I ever do Battlestar Galactica? Probably not. It's not even in consideration for me at this point. Hang on, Fuzzy Duck. I'm not ignoring you. I didn't actually like Battlestar Galactica, the reboot. It was a good show. I just didn't like it. Well, I say it was a good show. I think the ending was crap. But other than that, it was a good show. But it was an extremely coffee situation for me. So that was just kind of a... So... what I am most likely to do is in the time in between TOS being done and Enterprise being done, I'll probably slot in a smaller show. And that's one of the reasons why I've been seriously considering putting in Space Above and Beyond. I haven't decided yet. So, Fuzzy Duck asked a very common question. Where do I start with Star Trek? My usual approach is to recommend you pick up Season 3 of Star Trek The Next Generation and poke at it for a bit. Watch a few episodes and see if you like it. If the overall format is something you enjoy, then go ahead and keep watching. If the format is something you really start to dig a lot, then I recommend you go ahead and start from the beginning. In general, if you're into Star Trek, if you're committed, I usually recommend you go ahead and start off at the beginning. Sorry, O'Crack. Sorry, we got off topic. People were asking me Star Trek stuff. What do you want from me? Oh yeah, by the way, I should mention, this video is obviously going live on YouTube, so I'm going to be watching the comments section on this video to see how bad it gets because we have a topic discussing MLP. I'm going to put it in the subject title too, just to make sure that people see it's about MLP. Be a nice little litmus test, I think. My Little Pony, right. So, options. What's bad about My Little Pony? Nothing. That's not the problem. Oh, gosh. There's no good option here. Let me just go ahead and say that. And it actually irritates me because I'd really like to do more Mini-Nations. In fact, I actually really like doing Mini-Nations in the future. I would love to do more of them. And I actually spent the better part of the last week trying to come up with a way to be able to do more Mini-Nations in the future. And you know what I came up with? Nothing. The only availability to do more Mini-Nations is to stop doing something else. Streams or, you know, one of the YouTube features. You know, I'm kind of up against a wall on that one. Thank you very much, good Senator. Much obliged and appreciate as always, sir. Thank you. If you happen to know where you want to put that for a future stream, let me know. Now, I've already decided that I'm not pulling back on streaming. I'm not. There's no way. Streaming has not only... Ignoring the fact that I love streaming, the fact is streaming is most of why I don't have to worry about my bills every week right now. I get plenty of money through Patreon, and that does front most of the big bills, but the fact that I have no problem with, for example, eating or being able to, you know, buy a replacement part the moment it goes bad or whatever. In other words, the reason I have no money issues right now is specifically because of the fact that I am streaming. Oh yeah, it's also probably worth noting, several people were bringing up the idea of going ahead and connecting... Oh, you said it. I'm sorry, good Senator. I completely missed it. I apologize. There we go. Banjo-Kazooie, you got it, sir. Thank you again. So Streamlabs actually has a way to connect Patreon to Streamlabs. It doesn't do anything. All it does is make it so that little pop-ups will happen once someone, you know, subs or does or whatever. Yeah, exactly, Hazardous. You know, if the YouTube exploded tomorrow, I would be able to exist for a couple months in order to be able to find another job, which is, you know, pretty standard practice if you can afford to do so. And I highly recommend, by the way, anyone out there start thinking about that in terms of financial planning for the future, because you always want to make sure you have at least 3 months is actually the minimum. You want to make sure you have that gap there of no income whatsoever. Anyways, getting back to the point, My Little Pony. I'm willing to take suggestions if anybody has any ideas on how to do more Mini-Nations. I mean, at this point, I'm struggling just to do the Mini-Nations that have already been funded. So... You know? Well, see, Larian, that's one of the problems. Patreon is supporting me and the show. So I don't really have a way of telling how much of that is for the YouTube side or the stream side, you know? I've tried. I've actually tried multiple elements to do that. I have tried to make it so that there's a way to show it or not, and people have been, like, not helpful in that, basically. More about my daily routine? Okay. I wake up, go to the bathroom, cook 4 eggs and about a cup of oats, do my morning exercises, sit down, work, finish working, go take a shower, and go to bed. I suppose that's a lie. Right about 7-ish, I go ahead and cook up some chicken. If I haven't cooked chicken, or, you know, pull out the chicken if I've already cooked some and I have some leftovers, and then that's my dinner. Now, Aethel brings up a very interesting idea that I myself have considered, and I actually forgot about it until Aethel said something. So, one of the things I've considered doing is streaming the Mini-Nations. So, obviously I can't show the show. That's super not allowed. Instead, what I would do is I would have a set designated time, probably in the evenings, assuredly, guaranteed in the evenings. So in my evenings, every day, and I would sit down, kind of like I'm doing right now, and I would basically do the Mini-Nation, except I'd be doing it live.
Zug zug.
So, you know, yeah, basically do some form of live commenting and discussing with people who actually happen to show up for it. And then it's an easy process to basically just push that right out to YouTube for the VOD. This is something that I actually was considering. Now, that would reduce the amount of Mini-Nations we do, because it would push it down to 5 a week. I would do, or we could do 7. I'm actually okay with that. But the idea would be once per day, evening, and that's it. It's like Eric over there. Eric loves My Little Pony, consequently. Now, you see, the funny thing is some people would take that as an insult. Thank you, Eric. Much obliged, sir. Much appreciate, as always. And you know the question. And yeah, the downside is it would have to be in the evenings. It is the only part of my day I would have free. Like, the only one. So, there's no way I could do that, do it during the morning. There's no way I could do that during the day. That time is absolutely taken, and that's not changing. I know, Darth Tyron. That is kind of part of the problem here. There are plenty of people who are not going to be able to join the live conversation on that, and that sucks, because I'd rather pick a time that, you know, more people can attend. But this is something I'm considering. And if this idea works, this would very narrowly open a door for more Mini-Nations in the future. Because, you know, we do a test run on My Little Pony, and then if this works, then we could keep going forward with, like, Season 3 of Young Justice, or, what else? There were, like, several shows that occurred to me. Oh, yeah, the DCAU. I'd love to go through the DCAU, you know? Batman the Animated Series, Justice League, all that fun stuff. That's true, Juanta. That is true. I wish I had a cinnamon roll right now. I haven't had sweets in a few weeks. I'm doing the really, really reduced calorie diet thing, basically just to try it. Because I can't do it while streaming. I know this is going to sound strange, but streaming is too stressful, and I already have headaches from streaming, so I can't do it while streaming. But while I'm recording... Yes, McCool, of course. Tell me. You got it, McCool. No, not intermittent fasting. I'm just eating like half of what I used to. I can tell you what I eat every day right now. I eat 4 eggs, a cup of oats in the morning. Someone asked what I have my oats. I just put water in it and heat it up. It's just oats, rolled oats. Then I have a few spoonfuls of yogurt and some nuts for lunch. And then I have some chicken breast, which I cook up usually with like pepper and apples in the evening. That's my meals right now. Pretty much 1-to-1. Like that's my day. Okay, Eric. And Mukul. No milk? I have recently discovered I'm lactose intolerant. Funny, isn't it? I didn't even know. I don't know when it happened or when it became a part of my life. Because I originally had a bowl of cereal in the morning. Good cereal, like healthy cereal, just fiber and whatnot. And then it was just weirding me out. I just kept having all this weird digestion issues and these gas issues, and just strange. And then my sister was like, why don't you just stop drinking milk? I was like, oh, okay. All of a sudden it went away, and I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Really? So I switched to Lactaid, which is specifically for lactose intolerant people. Same problem. Anyway, sorry, let me write down McCool's thing here really quick. Where was it? Right, Persona Death. I mean, Persona Good. Oh, God, what are the numbers? Cool. 3D3. There it is. 3D3. And Eric wanted to put it down here. Just right here. And I feel like there was another one in there. It was Tazara! With Aethel. Hang on, where was this? So Tazara given, and it's Aethel's choice. And Aethel's putting it towards... He's debating... Which has more interest for me? Oh, FF7R, easily. Like, don't mistake me. Greedfall looks interesting, but if you look how unfunded FF7R is... I mean, holy crap, right? Persona was on the Forbidden List. But no, it's not. Basically, I decided to go ahead and swallow my principles, I guess is the word on that one. And just say screw it, because I know a lot of people wanted me to look at the Persona stuff. Tazara! So, Aethel, what's your decision? And thank you, Mr. Red, very much for the sub, sir. Although, I don't see what you would like that to go towards. Or do you want Nerazaz to decide? Head on. Right! You can, in fact, put that towards head on. Although, I think that's in the... Yep, that's in the not sure yet area. But when I'm done with the YouTubing stuff, I swear I will look into it. I've got it all written down. You've put 3 subs towards it so far. Okay, FF7R. You got it. Thank you again, Tazara and Mr. Red. Okay, I'm hearing a lot of positive about the idea of doing this live. So, you want to start tonight? Or do you want to wait until Young Justice is done? Which, I'm not sure when that is off the top of my head. I think it's next month. Give me a second. Give me a second. Creator Classic, please. God, I hate this so much. Here's the last video that went live. No, I need the last video I uploaded. Did you know in the new Creator Class, in the new Creator Studio, there's no way to sort by upload date? Think about that. That is just so frustrating. Okay, so it looks like the last episode will go live of Young Justice will go live on October 16th. It'll be the second episode that day. So actually, we're a little bit out, aren't we? Further out than I thought. 1, 2... That's 3 weeks from now. 3.5 weeks from now. So we can try it tonight. I don't know, Mike Romano. We could do it tonight, or we could do it in the middle of October. Hang on. Let me just throw together a straw poll really quick. Maybe like just as a test thing. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. What time would it be? So what I'd want to do is I'd want to establish a regular time so that every night at blah is when it happens. So people would know. So people would always be able to, like, okay, it's such and such a time. It's time to do the thing. God dang it. Okay, hang on. Max time, I'm not ignoring you. Give me a second. Nero's as, that's up to you, obviously. Shadow Machine, what the hell? Let me jot that down before I start saying thank you, because it's going to scroll up my screen very soon here. So that was Halo 2. And well, part of the point, Micromano, is to see if this works in general, because if this works in general, we'll have the option of doing this going forward. In short, this is the only way I've come up with the possibility of doing more Mini-Nations past MLP. Otherwise, we're probably just going to chop it off, and this is going to be the last one. Okay, so max time. So yeah, the time. Obviously, doing it at about the board game nighttime was actually exactly what I was thinking. That would be, to put simply, that would be at 8 p.m. every night. My time, obviously. I believe at the moment that is midnight GMT. I think. Which will be changing in a few weeks here, or months, or whatever. So just look up GMT really quick. Yeah, I know it's not observed in London. Okay, so no, I'm right. It would be midnight GMT. So yeah, it would be midnight GMT every night. Would be the idea. I don't know. What do you guys think? Actually, GMT is 4 hours ahead of me, because currently I'm on daylight savings time. See, the thing is, GMT doesn't change, but my time changes, so I'm either -4 or -5, depending on the time of year it is. God, daylight saving time is so stupid. What the hell is UTC? Here, let's look it up. UTC. What is UTC? Coordinated Universal Time. Okay, so what time is it now? UTC. Hang on. That's GMT. It's the exact same time, though, as GMT. So anyways, that would be midnight UTC. Let me check the results here. Yeah, I noticed that it's actually Coordinated Universal Time. Shouldn't that be CUT? But then nobody wants around saying, cut! What time is it? It's 3 o'clock. Cut! See, the problem here is if I'm going to do this, there's actually a pretty small window in which I can. Because I do, you may not know this, but even though I cut off at roughly 7 in the evening every day, I do also have to, I do work afterwards, and then I usually spend a little time trying to not go insane, you know, hanging out with Gary or Pax or Eric or whatever, playing Division 2, you know, that's my only time to not be insane, is right after work. So it can't be before. Like I already have days where I have trouble getting up and getting my morning done before 10, so I can't do before. So it has to be after. Maybe I could do it before. I don't know. So, how many of you guys? What would you guys think about? 1 p.m. UTC or GMT. It can't be during the day. It absolutely cannot. I will be streaming or recording during the day, period. I already stream 8 hours a day and record 10 to 12 hours a day. That's utterly impossible now. Not as a regular thing. Right, the 2 sections. So I'm sorry, I don't actually understand. That's what I was going to ask you next time. I don't understand what you're suggesting. Oh, you mean like... So, okay, to explain, if you'll give me a moment, if I think I'm understanding her correctly. So what it would be like would be if I was to... let me make something up here really quick. So I just watched, I don't know, Hyrule Warriors. It's an episode of Hyrule Warriors, and I'm like, so here's my thoughts on Hyrule Warriors, and I got to admit that even though they included the new characters and tried to kind of tie things together, the second campaign run was really one of the funner elements of it. Although I do wish it branched a little bit more. I do appreciate the extra content and blah 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 blah. Then I would hit this button and be like, okay, what do you guys think? And then have the discussion element. Thank you very much, Cody. Much obliged, sir, as always. And I will jot that down. I never said thank you to Shadow Machine. I'm going to sit up just for this one. Oh, God. Oh, God. There we go. No, the discussion would be recorded. It would all be recorded. The point being that the initial would be my thoughts, and during which I would just do this. Blah, 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 blah. And then I would do this and be like, all right, what do you guys think? And then all of it would go ahead and be on YouTube. Because the easiest and simplest thing to do would be to just export straight from Twitch to YouTube. Thank you, Shadow Machine. Thank you very, very much, sir. Much appreciate, much obliged as always. Thank you. You suck. You and Tazara both. And I've put that towards Pokemon Shield, Halo, Halo 2, Banjo-Kazooie, and Banjo-Tooie. Oh, hey! My online Switch membership just renewed just now. I don't think cutting it into 2 different recordings is really feasible. As for would it be on the main YouTube or stream archives, that's a good question. It could be either. So far, Mini-Nations have been going live on the first channel, not the second. But since this is turning this into kind of a stream thing, it would make more sense to me to go ahead and put it onto the stream archives. And no, I did not, Nerozaurus, but I am now. Alundra. I'm sorry, Takoda. I'm just picturing, like I'm like blah 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 blah. Hang on. So I'm like blah 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 blah. Okay, what do you think? And then I just see a whole bunch of people being like, Yeah, exactly, SJ. How's the poll going? Ah, poor Luna. I feel for Luna. I mean, good lord. I even have a few theories about Luna. I don't know if they've been addressed in recent shows. Like I said, I've only watched up to like 4. Which version of MLP? I can only assume that Console Hot is what you're talking about. Now, Console Hot, of course, is very interested in My Little Pony, and I don't blame him. It's a good show. Gate 3. Thank you very much, Console Hog. Much obliged the sub as always, sir. But yeah, the recent one. The good one. To be as blunt as I possibly can about that. I actually did watch, I think, 2 episodes of the old My Little Pony. It was trash. Just trash. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound so dismissive, but God, it was like watching the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. You remember those? Remember the old Hanna-Barbera stuff? God, you want to talk about dreck. For the same reason I watched the new MLP, actually, Cody. Same reason I watched a lot of shows. Am I dissing on Tom and Jerry? I'm not actually talking about Tom and Jerry. If you give me a minute here, I will tell you what I'm talking about. So yeah, there's Scooby-Doo. Yeah, okay. And then there's Flintstones. Yeah, okay. There's NLG Arm Devil. Yeah, okay. And then there's these guys. Now, I'm sure most of you could, but other than Yogi Bear, can you recognize a single person on that picture? Other than Yogi and whatever his kid's name is. Thank you very much, NLG. Much obliged, sir. Level 2. You got it. Oh, I actually didn't even notice Pink Panther there, sorry. Yeah, Huckleberry Hound, I remember him. I actually remember most of these people, though I couldn't name them. See, that's the problem. Hanna-Barbera did have a few good shows, and it absolutely did. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the blech. They also had a, what was it? They had like a show where they would cross over with each other regularly and just have a bunch of the C-listers all on the same show, and it was awful. just awful. Ugh. You remember Hanna-Barbera Babies? So, yeah, that's what when I think of Hanna-Barbera, I think of the Drek. I don't think about Scooby-Doo. I don't think about Flintstones. I don't think about Tom and Jerry. And I don't think about the bear. His name is something I think of. I also don't think about Captain Caveman. God, the animation was so terrible, too. That's the other funny part. These pictures don't really get across how bad the animation was on so many of those. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. I'm getting way, way off topic. So, you know what? I'll give you this. The Hanna-Barbera cartoons are not as bad as Star Trek the Animated Series. What? How many of you have seen that show? Really? How many of you have seen that show? I've seen that show. So, how many of you know how bad Star Trek TAS is? I'm sorry to say it like that. So, okay, let's rewind for a second. There are a few good episodes, and I will easily admit there are some good episodes. That is true. But then there's the rest of it. I'm trying to find the name of the animation company because they got... Is it Filmation? Is that who did it? They got a really, really, really cheap animation company to do the animation. And I mean really cheap. We're talking, like, I can't even properly explain how bad the animation is on this show. We're talking like cardboard cut, like drawing a picture and then cutting out a card as if it was a cardboard cutout. Some of the things so that they just do this, and then constant recycling of the same animation clips, and just I can't even put it into words. It is absolutely terrible. You know why? Because they were basically broke. They insisted on having all of the original voice actors, with one notable exception, come back for the show. So that's expensive. Like, substantially expensive. So basically all the money went into making sure that William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy and DeForest Kelley and blah, 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 blah were actually on the show. So they were like, okay, we need to really chop money somewhere else. So they got what's the term for that? Like when you're the lowest bidder? They got the lowest bidder for the animation. And they also didn't hire a lot of extra actors because they just didn't have it in the money. Now, a show that had good voice acting and good scripts and bad animation I could tolerate. The problem is the scripts weren't good, with a couple of exceptions. And even the episodes that are actually enjoyable are enjoyable because of the value of the script, not because of anything else. Yeah. It's also completely not canon, by the way. With one exception. No, seriously, there is literally one episode of the animated series which is universally considered canon. Even Gene Roddenberry said that, for God's sakes, back when he was still alive. I'm trying to look up the name of that episode, because... Is this it? Yeah, Yesteryear. That's it. It's the second episode. By DC Fontana. It's about Spock's past. Anyways, we're getting way off topic here. How's the vote? Because I'm kind of stalling for the vote. Looks like... So we've only got 33 votes. If you haven't voted, now's a good time to vote. I'm going to probably cut this off soonish. Voot, voot, voot. Please. Please vote. Yeah, the Spock's Past episode. Yeah, here's the link, and I think Bregman just linked it too. Yep, she did. Voot. I'm going to go ahead and chop off the local recording. I think we've just been rambling for like an hour.